Happy Saturday, Vol Nation. Frank Rock, House of Orange TV. Hopefully this Saturday is setting up with a lot better omen than last Saturday did. Of course, rewind a week. It was reported Tony Vitello was close to being named the manager of the San Francisco Giants. Obviously, that evening, you had the debacle in Tuscaloosa. Today, though, out of the blue, surprising, caught me off guard, shocked, surprised, but fired up. Josh Elander is named the 26th head coach of the Tennessee Vols baseball team. Hit that like, that share, that subscribe. This one, it was reported yesterday that Schnall from Coastal Carolina was interviewing for the job. There was a list of candidates mentioned. I did a video last night talking about that. To me, the whole time, this was easy. It was simple. It was a no-brainer, and that you put Josh Elander in. He's been there the whole time. He's basically been the right-hand man. He's recruited most of, if not all, these guys to some extent on the roster. Why blow up what's there? Worst case, this is a top 5 job in the country. I put it top 2 right now with LSU. I would put it 2 behind LSU just because of what they've done. But this was a no-brainer on it, and Danny White realized it. And I'll tell you what else we realized in all this. With all the rumors that went on this week about the rifts, the beefs behind the scene, they all hated each other, looking to clean house. This hire, and I was talking about it with someone last night, we agreed that this hire would tell us if those rumors were real or not. You can put those in the column of they were bullshit, as suspected. And most times when they come from the source who has an axe to the grind with Danny White, makes things worse. Was there some stuff behind the scenes? Was Danny White and Tony Vitello the best of buddies? Possibly not. That's 2 big egos there. Let's make no mistake about it. But this day is going to be about Josh Elander. That tells me that it wasn't that big of a rift behind the scene, or why would you hire Josh Elander in? It's a no-brainer. Now we can kind of get the focus back on, and I think the focus has gotten lost during this time. People are freaking out. There's a portion, like me, it's bittersweet. You hate to see Tony Vitello go. Man, I'm happy for him. What an opportunity for him. What an opportunity for Josh Elander as well. And we're really fortunate, guys. I'm telling you, we are really fortunate that the last 2 cycles, teams did not hire Josh Elander. I thought it was ideal for South Carolina 2 years ago, and South Carolina went out and went and hired the veteran guy that had been on the couch for a couple years, and you see how that's working out for them. It worked out for us, though. Elander stayed. I don't think anybody envisioned Tony Vitello going anywhere, but he was always going to be a hot commodity. He was always going to be mentioned. And, if there was ever going to be a college coach that made the jump from college to the majors, doesn't shock me at all that it's Tony Vitello. But we're very fortunate that whole time that some of these other programs did not come in, interview, and hire Josh Elander. He was there when Vitello got the opportunity. He took it. I don't blame him. He had an opportunity to be one of 30. Elander was here. It was a perfect opportunity. And here's the thing with me as well on this. Here's where I look at 2 ways. All right. Let's say that, obviously Elander is your coach now. Let's say if it doesn't work out, I fully expect it's going to work out. And I fully expect this team is going to Omaha this year. And they're going there with the intent on winning the whole damn thing. But let's say in the event 3 years down the line, it doesn't work out. I think your fan base is more forgiving in that, whereas if you went outside the box on it, you went out and hired somebody from the outside, brought them in, and that doesn't work, especially when you just had this staff, you had it all there ready to go, fan base would have been a whole lot less forgiving. And hopefully now we can get this witch hunt on Danny White out of the way. I'm overhearing this witch hunt on Danny White about his job ought to be on the line. That's stupid. It's literally stupid because we've got the best athletic department as a whole in the entire country right now. What more do you want? It's one coach, Tony Vitello. Yes, we didn't want him to leave, but Danny White come in, made the smart hire. He made what I feel is the safest hire too, and he made the hire that made the most sense. People continue to doubt Danny White, and I don't know why on that. I've got people saying, well, it's because that football coach. You're talking about that football coach that went to the playoffs last year, that football coach that has a chance to go again this year. Yeah, that football coach, it's the best we've had since Fulmer. I'd say that's pretty good, what he's done there. But anyhow, what happens with Elander in charge will be interesting to see. I would think Frank Anderson stays around. I would think Elander probably has a plan in place, too, in the event when Frank Anderson decides he wants to retire on it. You would think Ross Kivett stayed. I don't know what Tony Vitello takes anybody with him to San Francisco or not. Maybe Q Eberhardt, the strength coach, but he did that a couple years ago and came back. It's theoretically possible that they keep pretty much everybody that's there. You elevate maybe Ricky Martinez up, and then you keep rolling at that point. So it's very possible it all stays in place. And again, this roster is absolutely loaded this year. It is absolutely loaded. And, I'd heard the comment that Elander had said at one point, I'm glad it's not me. It has to make the decisions on this lineup. Well, you do now. And I think a lot of people are pretty excited about that, myself included. I'm fired up about this. I was excuse me, I'd gotten a text. I was across the street, and I'd gotten a text about it, and I was like, there's no way. And then got a phone call, and here we are. So pretty ecstatic about it. It's a bittersweet week for Tennessee baseball, and that we all hate that Tony Vitello moves on. But in the same breath, though, what an opportunity for him, and now what an opportunity for Josh Elander. And the smart, right, and no-brainer decision was made on it. This lineup is going to be loaded. That pitching staff, I'm really curious to see that weekend. I mean, it's Coons, Mack, Arvidsson, Blanco. I think some combination of those four, ever what order you want to spin it with them. I mean, to me, Coons and Mack in whatever order they go, it's a lock. It's a no-brainer. Arvidsson to me is, but what role do they envision for him will be interesting to see how it goes. Blanco can do it too. He's done it in Virginia. He could do it here as well. Or could it possibly be a freshman step up? There's some pretty good looking freshmen on that team too, as far as pitching wise. But the Storm, I think the Storm is blown over at this point. Now we need, hopefully, again, it sets a good omen that Tennessee can go up in football tonight and take care of business as they should as well. But, anything else along the way, I'm sure there'll be, news of promotion. I don't envision now, the only grad transfer they could have had transfer out and play immediately is Mark Hindy. Why would he go anywhere now? And but guys can transfer down. They can go to JUCO or even down to Division 2 or 3. But I don't see it happening at this point. I mean, you just and what this will do as well with these high-ranked recruiting classes coming in, Elander's had a hand in that. Will you lose some? I mean, it's possible. It's always possible, but I think you keep the biggest majority of this intact. It was the right hire. Hats off to Danny White for making the right hire. Congratulations to Josh Elander as the new head coach of the Tennessee baseball team. This team will keep rolling. They'll keep moving along, and I fully expect we're going to see them back in Omaha this year. Frank, House of Orange, have a great rest of your Saturday, and I'll see you when I see you.